All right, so here's the world that you are in for this campaign. Elsir Vale. It is small, and a little broken, but mostly good. And they are in an age of peace, centuries after an invading force from the north of deadly orcs kind of came down and just wrecked everybody. The dwarves rose up and fought the orcs, and honestly, I mean, not just dwarven historian, any historian would agree that if not for the dwarves, all would have been lost. But the dwarves sustained tremendous losses, and their kingdom, they were kind of the dominant race in the area, was shattered. Their allied races, rather than rising up to help them, kind of built over their ashes. So the dwarves are very salty of the southern mountain ranges. They're very salty. The Fae of the Witchwood didn't help at all. So that animosity between the elves and the dwarves is very well earned in this very small campaign setting. You guys are locals to the area from any of the known holds, villages, or towns. I don't believe anybody's origin story had them coming from the islands of the Sapphire Coast, the Southern Kingdoms, or the Northlands, but everyone is from different areas around Elsir Vale. For whatever reason you come up with, you have found your way to Drellin's Ferry. Maybe you've been there for weeks, maybe you've been there for months, maybe you've been there for years, maybe it's your hometown. But opportunity, circumstance, or some combination thereof has brought you to Drellin's Ferry. So this is a sort of session 0, session 0.5 thing. Do any of your characters know each other before the campaign starts? This would be the last chance to kind of say that's the thing that's happening and set that up. I don't know. I didn't see any discussion about that in chat on Discord, but did anybody have that, or is this going to be one of those heroic individuals brought together by a common purpose sort of situation?
I threw up the question, but I think we decided to do it in session 0.
Okay.
While I haven't talked to anyone about it, I would say that my character is very easy, that you either just know of him, because he is just that guy, pun intended, because he is the bard, and he has been likely playing at the Old Bridge Inn for some time now, causing an uproar when he came in, and like maybe the bard that was playing, maybe you liked him, maybe you didn't. Got kind of shoot out of town whenever a guy came in. Maybe laughed at him. So maybe you go to the Old Bridge and you know him because he serves drinks, he plays, and it's a good time. Maybe you don't like him. Up to you. I'm open to anyone who wants to connect to stories.
Okay, does anybody want to connect their stories before we begin? Or otherwise, we will go with the classic meeting in a tavern scenario.
I would say Thanlin would know about him.
Okay. Are you allies, or you just simply know about him?
He may have had to separate him from a small struffle.
Oh, perfect. Wait, you separated Guy, or Guy separated you?
Oh no, he would have separated Guy.
Oh, perfect. Absolutely. No, there's people that want to kick Guy's teeth in.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Typical Bard stuff.
Yeah.
It's not his fault, he's better.
Oh, jeez.
And maybe just like gone up to him after a performance and bought him a drink and just asked him about his life. So maybe just casual acquaintance.
Oh yeah, halflings are great. Shared some pipe or whatever you want. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that halfling weed. Yeah.
All right.
I was going to ask, how much time has Barnabas spent in Hillwatch? Because I was kind of talking with Crash, and Mousefolk people kind of live like outside of that settlement. So I'm wondering if my character would have like seen you around there.
I apologize. I think we have cross wires. What are we talking about?
Barnabas.
Oh, as a halfling, he grew up in Denivar, so he wasn't actually growing up around halflings.
Ah, okay.
He grew up around the gnomes.
then I think that was probably the only one. I think Orion's kind of been traveling around the Vale for a bit.
I've kind of been in the same boat, I think, myself. I feel like I spent, like, years in, like, mountains and caves, but, like, last couple of weeks, months, or something, it's probably been, like, making the trip from, like, the midpoint Brindle to, like, Drellin's Ferry, kind of going, that in-between Witchwood to the towns kind of deal. It's like, I don't know, I feel like I've probably been in the ferry for a couple weeks, yes. Not too long. I'm chill if we met on the road at some point and we're like, oh, you're going to the same place? I mean, that's nice to know someone.
That works for me. It'd be very noticeable to know my character, because him and his companion are very strange, so I'll leave that for when we kind of do introductions.
Yeah, I mean, darting off of the roads and into the Witchwood half the time, so, it might work off.
Oh, perfect. And I might have even run into the both of you. Jert kind of just walked out of the forest one day. We've been around for about 2 weeks.
Oh,
yeah,
fantastic.
I feel like 2 to 3 is probably like Drellin's Ferry time. Not really time to have done a lot here, just to kind of like see around, maybe like, a couple people know my name in town. Yeah, that's about it, Yeah, I feel like that's kind of made the trip over the last couple months from like Brindle to the ferry. Just kind of doot-in from level 1 to 3.
I think you guys would have seen Phelan patrol around town. He's a guard here.
Okay, perfect.
Nice.
I have a question. About how long does it take to traverse the entirety of the, like, horizontal road, like, stretching
That's a good
east to
point.
west?
Let's see. God, from going from you guys to Denevar, I believe is almost 200 miles of travel. Yeah. All right. Okay, so we're gonna say that you kind of just wing it as you go. Like, if you know each other or not, just kind of lean into it, I guess, if it feels right. Those of you who do want to have kind of met before, that works also. And I'll bring everybody over to, we'll go with the Old Bridge Inn. So let's see, go into players, go ahead and grab our player characters. All right. And I will leave summoning the Pokemons to you. As a B-start, is it a Pokemon summoning situation, or is it always out and always around?
I believe it is always out.
Oh, okay. So let me go ahead and grab him then.
Yeah, that's why I was.
Oh,
people would know.
He a big boy too.
Yeah.
All right.
I think there is a magic item in the guide that is essentially, for all intents and purposes, a Pokeball. But
A Pokeball.
yeah.
Nice. Let's see. Grab that. And yeah, I'll bring you guys over. Let's go ahead and preload.
Whoops.
Okay.
Sorry. Pocket creature sphere.
Oh, pocket creature sphere. Of course. All right.
Oh my goodness, he's huge.
Yeah, he is.
Whoa!
Yeah, those two would have been very noticeable if you had seen them before.
Yeah.
Did he eat the mouse? Where'd he go?
All right. Now, based on your professions and interest, where would you guys be on a Friday afternoon at this fine establishment? Which is to say, the Old Bridge Inn is somewhat larger and busier than the Green Apple. The Green Apple is, it's really just there for drinks and dining. It doesn't actually have any rooms to stay at or anything. Size-wise, that's a bit of an understatement. I feel like they're kind of like roughly the same size, but this is a 2-story structure, whereas the Green Apple is kind of a sprawling, single-story, like almost like a town meeting hall kind of thing, like feast hall situation. The Old Bridge Inn is a bit more open to travelers, merchants, and people from out of town. It is run by a mighty halfling by the name of Kellen Shadowbanks. And Kellen is most assuredly an 18 strength halfling. He is enjoying that fifth age of magic where a halfling can have 18 strength, and you got to deal with it. Kellen is older, and he is the leader of his clan, and he runs the inn and several smaller businesses around town. He is renowned as the best Queen's Gambit player in town, and some say the region, except for maybe a few key players in Denevar and Brindle. The rooms here are of good quality, and a basic shared room would run 2 gold per day. So this guy's definitely taking advantage of the fact that he's the only inn in town in a major trade crossroads. He does have private suites. There are 5 gold a day. All right. So, give us an establishing shot of your character. We'll go ahead and start with Ark. What is your establishing shot?
Absolutely. Guy is right beside the piano, swinging in with a bunch of mead being sloshed and sheared towards him. Guy would be playing a lute beside the piano. You would see he is clearing his throat and letting the speech of the audience fade into silence as they hold up the mugs before his fingertips dance along his lute, and he would begin to strum, sending a thrill of dramatic notes soaring over all the listeners. Drawing a deep breath, he would then sing a mighty tune and a jovial one, bringing the whole tavern to life as quickly as he can and getting them to buy as many drinks as he can, especially for him. As for Guy himself, he's mostly unremarkable. Young, probably late 20s, mid-20s probably, about 6 foot tall. Nice hair, nice smile, nice eyes. A couple of strange trinkets, wrist straps. You can see clamshell, a necklace, shark tooth around a collar. And other than that, it looks like he's collected many things along his journeys, though doesn't have much on him. But those of you would peek and notice, probably from hecklers or challengers, a chainmail shirt or a chain shirt hidden right underneath his overcoat. Probably because sometimes people like to challenge the prettiest guy in the room.
All right. The camera then moves away from Guy, and it is looking over at Thanlin.
Alan is a rather muscular young man. He has pitch black hair with gold highlights at the very tips. He is wearing commoner clothing with chainmail armor latch above them. His back is turned to Kellen, mug in one hand, hand on the hilt of his sword, and he's just merely drinking while observing Guy, keeping an eye on him to make sure nothing dramatic happened around him, and is merely observing the inn.
All right, fair enough. The camera then pans over to Layla.
Oh, so Layla is definitely a girl that she's gotten her nose broken a few times when she was young, a few too many times, and never set back quite right. She's got these like green cloth over this like kind of mismatched hide, these like big pauldrons that kind of like tie it all together and kind of keep it from falling apart. And she is kind of doing that I'm sitting here against a wall because I'm people watching thing, and her eyes, she's totally not looking at anyone in particular, this person here, because they look very strange. But every time, she's like, does like the room scan, and then she like stops her eyes, and then like they look a little bit, and then she just kind of looks to the next person, and she's just basically just sitting there tapping her fingers, people watching, just seeing what everyone's doing.
All right. The camera then moves from Layla over to Jert.
So Jert is a broad-shouldered, 6'2" young man in his prime, carrying double-fisting ales, walking towards the door on his way to try and bring drinks to Orion as he is outside with his companion.
Okay.
He has long, darkened hair, and beneath that are these deadened amber eyes, but a face that is beset with courage and a smile.
All right, excellent. So having befriended this wild animal riding mousekin, you're kind of being the in-between for them. That's awesome. So the camera follows you out the door and heads over to... there's too many actual jingles in this. I wanted the tavern one that was just music. Hold on. Let's see.
Guy has a very feminine voice.
Yeah. Let's see.
He's great with impressions.
This one should be good.
You'll find out.
Yeah, well said. All right, there we go. This should just be some nice background stuff. Without Guy being every musician at once back there. All right, so Jert, it follows you out, and then it kind of sweeps over to Claude and Orion.
All right. Well, since it's a lazy kind of Friday, sun out, almost guns out, but he doesn't have that strength for that. We see about a little bit over 3 feet tall halfling, laying on top, or sorry, not halfling, sorry, mouseling, lying on top of a white, slightly bluish tint furred lion, just kind of baking in the sun, just enjoying the lazy afternoon. By his side, you can kind of see he has a short bow and a scimitar, and there's just, I think he's just enjoying himself for right now, since there's not any immediate work that's kind of being done. I think earlier this morning he had already done some hunting for like deer hides or something like that, but now that he's kind of taken care of that, then he's just enjoying the afternoon, and then he notices Jert coming through the door.
Yeah, so you kind of sit up, see Jert coming with the food. The camera kind of sweeps past your big mousy ears and into back into the inn, where it kind of swivels to take in the room and settle on Barnabas. Give us the establishing shot of Barnabas.
All right, so you actually don't see Barnabas right away, because across the table from Layla is sitting a brass ring with engravings of fire around the band in a kind of big rectangular shape on top of the red gemstone set into it. And there's a noise coming from it that's kind of drowned out by the sound of the inn, but I imagine Layla can hear it from a couple feet away. It sounds like banging metal, and then like the sound of a tool being pressed against a grindstone, and then there's like a pause, but there's a soft bubbling in the background, and you hear like powders being poured in glass vessels, and then suddenly a loud like pressure releasing, like a gas pipe bursting, and then a bang, and you see the compartment of the top of the ring open, and a small plume of smoke and cinders pours out and swirls in the air until it culminates into a scrawny halfling who's wearing this like red jacket, and he's covered in soot, and he opens the side of his jacket to reveal that there's like dozens of tools of various makes hanging in there, and pouches of materials, and he pulls out a rag and wipes off his face, and he's got, you know, kind of a fair complexion, a leather eye patch that covers his left eye, and his other eye is a steely gray, with like a shot of dirty blonde hair. And yeah, he just he looks over to Layla. He's like, "Oh, I've got good news and I've got bad news. I finished my project, but I think I just destroyed my entire alchemy kit."
I feel like in the time that it was just rattling and whistling, what was doing that thing with like a kettle teapot? She was like ready to smack the lid down and run it outside before the water blew out of it, but she just didn't quite get there. So when you pop out, her hands like probably like over your head, like ready to smack down, and then she's got like this wide-eyed expression. She's like, "Hey."
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. I like put out a little fire that's on my elbow and use the mending cantrip to like repair it, like my jacket.
All right. Yeah. So with that, the camera kind of goes up, and it. There could be. Yeah, that would probably help for you since you're streaming. Let me grab you one real quick. All right, I'm gonna put him in the Pokemon folder, and I'll go ahead and give you access to him. Let me check his settings real quick. He does have vision, and okay, and we'll set that for. Let's see. Hold on just a sec. Okay. All right, you should be the owner now of this fine cameraman. There we go.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, your Pokemon collection grows. All right, so this he's labeled as a gnome. That's terribly insulting. There we go. This axiomatic gnome who is playing the keys. They simply just call him Geezer. Not Gazer, but Geezer. Geezer looks over at you, Guy, and he says, what do you do? I know you. You were here yesterday. Make sure that you tip your pianist. You know what I'm saying?
Tip? Make sure you tip your lutist. In fact, you know, if I need to tip you before you tip me, as you didn't do last night, perhaps I should show you how you play that song. Here, old geezer. And he'll move up right beside him and take a hand, and he's gonna kind of put it on if he lets him, and he's gonna start playing his song using his hands as though it was in his youth.
Oh, this was all just a ruse because he's very lonely. His children and grandchildren never visit, so he's very happy that this is what he achieved. And he said, but he says, oh, you think that's how it's done? I'll show you how it's done. And he starts really just kind of slaying them keys, to the best of his, small town musician, old man with arthritis. So while you two are over there doing that, Thanlin, Kellen approaches you and says, hey, Thanlin.
Yeah?
Yeah. And, like, the whole area behind the bar is actually, like, higher than, like, the rest of the floor, so that even though this guy's a halfling, he can kind of look you in the eye situation. And he leans forward and he says, you two would work with the guards still, right?
Yeah, I still do. What of it?
Yeah, so I gotta ask, if you're doing work with the guards, what are you guys doing about the troll?
Lower your voice, okay? We're still working on that.
All right. Also, if you're in danger, if that bird is trying to hurt you, just type in a chat where it can't see, and I'll call the emergency services. So, no worries. So Kellen says, yeah, the troll that's been hanging out by the old bridge, the bridge that my place got its name from. There's been sightings of it, and I have it on good accounts that it's for real. My daughter and her friends were out there the other night, and they said it came out of the water and it came after them. They all managed to escape, but it's only a matter of time before that thing finally attacks and successfully kills somebody. It's bad enough that it's ruining things for the fisher folk, but something's got to be done about it. So what's going on? What's happening over there? What's the captain's situation? Why isn't she sending her best people over there?
Captain is very busy right now with important meetings between her and there's a mayor in this town, right?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. Noro Whiston is the town speaker. All right. Kellen says, sounds like I'm gonna have to take it into my own hands.
Kellen, don't you dare. I will handle it.
No. My own hands are full of coin, son. You're a capable type. What if I paid you 150 gold to go take care of that troll once and for all?
150 gold.
You hear from across the room, turning around.
And
Guy is
Scooby-Doo into the frame. Like,
Yeah.
Guy is one hand playing the piano better than Geezer is, and like looking over and smiling towards you.
Aelin is gonna turn, point his finger to Guy. Guy, stay your greedy ass over there.
He says, hey, that one's not the most rotten apple in the bunch. He's pretty talented to boot. I hear he's even good in a fight. If you're gonna take this offer, if you're gonna take this bounty, you should probably get some help. I'm not trying to underplay your abilities, but according to my sweet daughter, the sweetest, most precious thing in the whole world, she and her friends, admittedly, they're being halflings, they're a little small, they said this thing was as big as a giant.
Would I know how tall a giant is?
It depends on the giant, but you're starting at about 12 feet.
Thank you for telling me that, Helen. I'll take you up on that offer. But, however, I must insist, I will only take half what you're offering.
I'll take the other half.
Shut up, guy!
Kellen says, listen. I love this town. I love the fisher folk. I love the fairy folk. But most of all, I love my sweet daughter, who's the most precious thing in the whole world to me. This monster crossed the line when it tried to get her. So, if I can't rely on the town guard, it's martial law now. And you're my blade. And you're gonna be well compensated for it.
Thank you. Like I said before, I will gladly accept the offer, and I will look for others to aid me. But I insist, keep half of what you're offering for yourself. You've earned it.
Okay. I gotta say, I don't know if I could do these birds. Like, these birds are crazy.
I'm sorry, I'll move.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Kellen goes back to tending bar. People are coming and running drinks. The whole place is kind of hopping. Layla and Barnabas, you heard this exchange, as well as Jert and Orion outside. You guys heard somebody shout 150 gold. Jert, you have very little, wealth remaining, because where you went, they didn't really use currency or anything of the traditional sort. Now that you're
my last money on this drink for Orion.
Yeah, so now that you're back in the real world, traveling back home to check on your peeps, I mean, you're probably going to need some money to travel with. Orion, I would probably say you and Claude are pretty self-sufficient, but, I mean, 150 gold's a lot of gold. Barnabas and Layla, Barnabas, I mean, that nest egg running low, just saying.
I did just destroy my alchemist tools, so...
Yeah.
I think Orion's one of his ears perked up and like swiveled towards when he heard that 150.
We're recovering from the near heart attack from Barnabas. She's gotta pick herself up, and she's like, excuse me, man that was in the lamp. I'll be right back. And she will head to the door.
All right. Outside, Druid, you see there is a white lion. These are unheard of in this region, coming from the frozen north and mostly the highlands areas. So you may have heard about this small mouse and his big white lion kind of wandering Elsir Vale, but there they are, just kind of chilling.
I thought these were the two that I knew.
Oh, okay. These are the two that you do. Okay, then you look out and you see your wilderness companions. That makes sense. All three of you are kind of wilderness peeps. Okay.
Team survival.
Yeah. Team survival. Very nice.
She's still a little threw off by it, because every time she's like, "Man, this thing shouldn't be here." Yeah. It's gonna like predator.
It's like the first time you see a big dog IRL. You know. Like, you're like, can dogs really be that big? Is that allowed? Yeah.
That thing's the size of a coop.
Yeah. Over here. and just kind of wave at them to get their attention.
Yeah. Jerk will
Hey,
go in the direction.
There's like some stuff going down inside. I think I heard the guy that owns this place. I'm sorry, I don't know his name. I don't remember it. I think he's told me, but it kind of slipped my head. He said there was like a troll or something, and I'm pretty sure you probably heard that one really loud guy shout. He's offering like 150 gold for it. And you know, I know the forest was nice on eating those mushrooms and everything, but it's kind of expensive this town.
That's
Well, a lady's got to work for a living.
that's a decent amount of money there.
Yeah, Jert, holding a mug in one hand, puts the other on his hip, and just kind of exhales. Yeah, I could use that kind of money.
And Guy, you can hear because the door's open and you've stopped singing this conversation.
Guy like peeks his head out the window and he gets like this big smile on his face. And he's gonna rush over. Barnabas, 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 Danlin.
Yes.
Oh, my bad. That was
Okay. Now you said it's a troll, right? Or was it a big thing, right?
It's a troll.
Okay, you've got your gun on you, right, Barnabas?
always.
Okay. Now this is gonna be easiest 150 gold we've ever made, and I just want to make sure, splitting this 50 to you, Danlin, 50 to me. There's something huge right outside, big and hairy. I imagine it's a troll. You've got your gun. You've got your sword. I've got my smile. Let's go.
That's easy money. I thought it was under a bridge or something. Are you sure that's outside?
This is the old bridge. No, it's an easy thing to forget. Come on.
All right, all right.
Amos will have a hand out and slowly palm his face and sigh deeply. Dear God.
I am smart, not wise.
Kellen, here's a gold piece just in case. And Amos will slowly follow after Guy.
Okay.
Kellen will finish your mission if my name is known across the Vale as Encore. Good day! Come out.
Oh, good.
Hold on.
He's gonna.
Yeah.
Are you properly armed for this? You need a crossbow or something?
Oh! No, that's actually. Usually my words are enough. But I'll take a crossbow.
All right, hand him a crossbow and some bolts.
Oh, okay.
Just gonna walk out unarmed.
He holds onto a bolt and has the light crossbow just like on his hip. And he's holding the bolt as though it's a dagger. And he's gonna like come out and he's gonna push Thanlin, like just kind of like gently and point towards the creature.
Just prior to them coming out, I think Jert had
Yeah.
said that he was getting a drink for Orion, so he'll kind of pick it up. He'll
Yeah.
be like, you didn't have to buy this for me.
All the same, it's yours. But he looks you up and down. If you can't really take it all, I mean, I'll finish what you can't finish. And gives you a wink and drinks more of his own.
That may be preferable. Small bodies, small constitution, and all that.
Yeah, he nods.
All right, you guys hear a commotion.
Father with
By
the
now,
sippy cup.
Orion, you're familiar with this. This is the locals are scared of big cats.
Oh, here we go.
Typical.
Claude, for his part, lets out a lazy yawn.
And Guy, for his part, if Thanlin, you look like you're gonna burst out, right?
Oh, Dalen is just stumbling in.
Alright, Guy's gonna just like come out behind, push you a little bit further, and then he's gonna jump out too. And just yell, "Have at ye!" With the
Say-
crossbow bolt.
So, say what now?
Oh,
Yeah.
is that a troll? Barnabas.
What?
Yeah. I'm gonna say this is not a troll. I don't know much about trolls, but
You're right. It appears to be a big cat. You're very good at this, Barnabas.
I think trolls are like ogres, but like really pimply. That doesn't look like a pimply ogre.
Anyone trained in nature You could roll a nature check to see what your character would know about a troll. Trained only, though.
I am half trained at everything.
As a bard, you are you are trained in all things.
Excellent.
Okay.
So this A5e stuff, I have a feature from it called First Hand Naturalist, and I get to roll nature checks with wisdom at advantage.
Okay, sweet.
Not letting me roll
There
then.
you go.
Wait, I think it did.
Might be a blind roll.
It's a blind roll.
Yep.
He's knowledge based.
Yeah.
You might have
All knowledge stuff goes up as a blind roll in case you are so low that you have misinformation.
Oh man, this is so good. I have the exact same ability you do, but for survival.
All right, let's see. Based on this roll, Layla, you know that trolls are a type of giant. They are very savage, very dangerous, and that the druids generally don't tolerate their presence because they can be very detrimental to the ecosystem because they are ravenously hungry and incredibly sturdy. Beyond that, though, you don't recall too much else from your training. Jurt and Barnabas, you guys know that trolls can regenerate from any wound except fire and acid. In fact, their limbs, if hacked off, can fight independently of the body, and some theorize that that is how baby trolls are made, is like pieces of a troll fall off and then grow into more trolls. Yeah. Barnabas, your check was so good that you also know that troll blood is a popular ingredient in healing potions and other restorative magics.
Noted.
Yeah.
What I get?
Guy, you know that they are a beast that is a giant that is hard to kill, and you pretty much know what Layla knows. Yeah. All right. And Orion, you throwing your hat in the ring for this check as well?
Yeah, I threw it in. I think from
okay.
a backstory standpoint, I already encountered a troll, so I'm not sure of how much more knowledge he would know.
Yeah, so trolls generally have a claw attack routine that could eviscerate a town guard in 6 seconds or less, some might say. They're a very dangerous opponent. All right, so that's kind of your group think about trolls, as you guys are like the absurdity of this guy thinking that Claude is a troll, and then everybody kind of like takes a moment to think, and they're like, oh yeah, trolls.
Yeah,
Orion will...
will...
give him a long... Sorry, after you.
Oh, no, that's you.
I was gonna say, I take Guy aside and give him a long explanation about trolls and the differences between them and lions.
You know, now that I think of it, I don't remember trolls having a boobable nose in that book.
I would probably suggest to not boop his nose. Claude doesn't exactly like it when strangers touch him.
Are you a mouse kid?
Disappointing.
Yes, I am.
That's amazing. I don't mean to presume. Do you know someone Gideon? You ever heard the name? It's fine.
DM, would I know a Gideon?
I mean, I'm not presuming that all mouse kids know each other, but your community is pretty small in this region, so.
Yeah, maybe there was a story about a Gideon, but can't say that I have.
No, that's all right. He shared with me he's a leaf guard. His beautiful jutes recipe. Perhaps I am getting ahead of myself. You know, that's a really big creature. Probably big enough. I don't need the gold, but then you need the reputation. I don't. Everyone loves me. Orion...
I beg your pardon? Half the people here wants to punch you in your face.
Only the people that aren't as good as me at singing or dancing or smiling.
A quarter of them have punched you in the face.
True.
I mean, it is a pretty punchable looking face. I don't even know you.
That's fair. And you look like you have taken a few punches yourself, and I like that. It's supposed to be a compliment. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to ask name first. What's your name? Both of you.
Oh, my name's Orion.
Layla.
And the furry one's Claude.
And then Jared nods his head. Name's Jet.
Okay, I was going to say, that's a big axe, and I really did not want to, piss you off. Thank you for not making me ask.
Nice to meet you.
Phalans will walk up to Orion, offer a handshake. Hello, Orion.
He'll reach up, kind of shake your hand. Pleasure to meet you.
Like, how tall is Orion? Like, will he dangle if I kind of, like, shake his hand up and down?
He's just an inch over 3 feet.
Oh, God. Okay.
He's a small boy.
Phalan will then turn to look over to Jet, Bert, and just nod.
Oh yeah, he gives you the nod.
He will then offer another hand to Layla.
She'll take your hand.
And he will politely turn the grasshopper hand frontward and give her a small kneel.
She's doing that like face where she's like scrutinizing. Like this is a little weird.
There is a small community of mouse folk in the Vale that have like a community and whatnot. The others are in Marth Forest and are a bit more wild and reclusive, for kind of a point of reference for these creatures.
Yeah, I'm more the domesticated one, apparently.
Well, I mean, compared to the ones that are in Marth
Yeah.
Forest. Yeah.
No, honestly, we talked about this. Introduce yourself.
Ah, yes. I'm working on my social skills. I'm not very charismatic. Hi there. And I walk up to Orion, and I actually believe I'm shorter than Orion because I'm 2'7". And and yeah, I say, wow, I've only ever read about Mousekin. This is so fascinating. I'm Barnabas. What's your name?
Name's Orion. Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure. I shake with both hands. Like I take one hand in one hand, I take the other hand, and I shake vigorously. And I say, your lion is very beautiful. And you're sure he's not amenable to boops?
Give it a little while. He likes to act tough, but he's a bit of a softie as well.
Okay, we'll get there. Then, yeah, I'd just wander up to Jert and, like, extend a hand upwards at him.
Yeah, he will crouch down to reach your hand and give you a nod and say, Barnabas, right?
Yes, salutations. Nice to meet you. Jert, right?
Yep.
Nice to meet you, Jert.
Nice to meet you.
How'd you guys like to join us on a hunt? Sounds like there's some trouble afoot.
It is actually a noble quest given to Thanlin. But
Jert
we're
stands
not-
up from his crouched position. How much do, I mean, is it 150 for the lot or individually?
Yeah, that would be a great question. Great question to ask.
Guy walks in.
Kevin,
Yeah.
is it 150 for each of us, or is it
No! It's not 150 for each. You think I'm made of money?
Actually, yeah.
I mean, with those forearms, you could probably carry that much.
He lets out a buffaw laugh, and he says, yeah, that's probably true, but, nah, listen, I gave you first dibs on this, Drellin. If you don't want the job, I'll go ahead and get a billet posted. I'm sure somebody passing through will do it.
Phalan's gonna walk forward. We'll take it.
All right, how you divide it up is up to you. But the free booze that you'll be drinking when you bring me that troll's head, that's gonna make the 150 feel like a bonus. I mean, only the cheap stuff, obviously, but you know, as much as you could drink.
As long as your daughter and those of the Ferry are well kept and safe, it'll be alright.
Totally agree. Nasty
oh,
trolls.
Wow, his face brightens and his mood warms because you guys are so earnest and heroic. And he says, I was being kind of a hard ass. You know what? You guys have good hearts. Did give me a hard time about the money, and and I can tell that you're doing this because it's the right thing to do. Well, I'll throw in 50 more gold.
Great. I'm gonna
No!
I'm gonna lean into Than, like tug on his waist belt and like bargain for some rooms. We need a night stay.
Haven't you been staying here for over a week now or more?
Yeah, but I'm running out of money because of it.
Oh, if you guys need a room, you can have mine. I have a free lodging here, and free meals, and free drinks.
Can I do an insight check on that?
Implicitly and is just impressed.
Yeah, I mean, you can do an insight check. I mean, it's true based on your background and stuff. So, yeah. But you could do a performance if you want to, you know, kind of. Yeah.
Advantage because I was actually playing and singing.
Yeah, sure. Like situational evidence, yeah.
Did you roll?
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm good at this.
Alan, this man would never lie to you. The disparity between your insight and the performance he's putting on, you are a little, maybe feeling a little guilty about doubting him. So earnest and so true is this guy.
Look at that smile.
Yeah.
Sure.
Don't worry, Danlin. You look bewildered, endangered, and I'll protect you. And so will this very dangerous lady and a big cat. And the mouse folk. And the man with an axe. We suddenly got a lot more dangerous.
Yeah, and our you know, RPG video game style, NPCs just disappear and new NPCs appear as it grows later in the day. And people are just kind of like coming and going and whatnot. So as the evening hours are setting in, do you guys want to try to head out before sunset and investigate, or are you hoping to get a night's rest and check in the morning?
I mean, I'm fine for going in the evening.
Okay.
Yeah, same here.
I can provide.
We already got a direction to go.
Do I know the bridges?
Yeah. The pylons of the old bridge. You definitely know where they are. Do you just want to head out there now, or do you want to like ask him for more information?
I know what things on my mind I'd like to talk about first.
Oh. Okay.
Do any of us have the ability to use fire or acid, as we discussed?
Hi. I raise my hand with a big red ring on it, and the top opens up and like a Zippo lighter style flame comes out. I got some fire.
And he puts both hands on his hips and nods. Excellent. All right, then second thing. Shouldn't we find out why the guard aren't doing anything about this? Perhaps there's some extenuating circumstance or something that he doesn't know about that we should.
Perhaps this troll is no troll at all. Perhaps just a down on his luck. I don't know. God? Have you lost any friends recently, Daniel?
So,
I mean,
it's totally Scooby-Doo. It's like a disenfranchised guard in like a
That's
troll
what guy's
costume.
thinking right now.
Yeah.
that'd be a really big guy, but
Yeah, it's just man bear pig. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
So-
got blood. It's perfect.
So Barnabas, based on your earlier role, you kind of, there's a lot going on. You're very, it's very exciting. You start to kind of recall there are many subspecies of troll. And it's just one of these, like, super smart. You got a really great check. And you realize if it's in the river, could be a river troll. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And river trolls are actually only weak to cold and fire, and only the application of both elements can ever truly slay them.
Yeah. So guys, just another thought. Yes, fire, but also cold. Can anyone do cold damage? Because this is a watery boy, I think we're dealing with, unless he got lost somewhere along the way.
Unfortunately not.
Could if we went tomorrow.
That might be a good choice then.
But I guess we could use the day to look around, maybe see the thing.
Yeah, we could go.
Might have saw it.
We meet with the god captain.
If there's a bunch of different kinds, I mean, I'd hate, I get this like ice spell ready, and then turns out it's, I don't know, water troll.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe we canvass some people in the area and talk to the guards, and then tackle this tomorrow. I think that's probably the wisest. My father always says, bring the right tools for the job.
That is a great plan. But I have to ask, what are we so afraid of a troll that we need elements?
They are really tough to kill completely. You can beat up anything, but getting them full dead is the real trick with trolls. They need a little extra persuasion, and takes usually some kind of elemental mixture.
Really? Well, I mean, are they able to get back up? Are they?
Oh, they regrow limbs. They completely. You could, short of cutting off their head, I'm pretty sure they could regrow anything. They might be able to regrow that. Not sure.
I just know they can stay in a menacing place for a long time. I don't really blame the guards for not taking care of it. From what I've heard from people that kind of wanted to get rid of trolls before, it's not something you just. Not everyone can just, what I mean.
It's not a pack of wolves. This might be outside their pay grade.
Yeah, this ain't rats in the cellar.
We can ask them though. Maybe. I mean, what would it hurt to get a few of them to even agree to fire a few crossbows at it?
All right. So you want to start your investigation by tracking down the guard captain, Sarana Anita, kind of like not just going down to the police station, but going and asking for the police commissioner. I mean, I'm down for it. I mean, Thanlin, I mean, you have, you work with the guards. Yeah. All right. Let's head to the map of Drellin's Ferry.
Along the way, Guy will say, well, if the problem of the troll is that it keeps getting back up, I actually can fix that.
How so?
I learned the grasp of the darkest creatures of the sands of Amon. I've seen one of their arms in an auction. Terrible things. But I can channel their magic. I can make sure nothing can regrow.
Oh, wow.
Briefly.
That sounds rather nasty.
That's very impressive magic. I'd love to see you do
Impressive
that.
indeed.
It wasn't mine, but I can do it. It may not kill the creature, but it will stop it from getting back up, if that's all we need.
Does it have a duration?
Yes, but you can go do what you will. You can drag its body out while I keep it down, or maybe if it can't regenerate, it'll just stay dead. I don't know.
It's a good option to have.
Though, you said one that it's Leon? You have the scarred face. Sorry, you said your name, I looked you right in the eyes. I kept looking at the scars. I didn't listen.
Yeah, I do that a lot with people too. My names, they just go in one ear and out the other.
That's right. I'm just some guy. Don't worry. And you said you have ice magic.
I could, yeah.
I love meeting magic users. Okay, you're gonna.
I mean,
if we need.
I need some time. I need to get some dew in the morning. And, yeah.
No, you're going
I
to love this. You said I've got a very punchable face, right?
I mean, I didn't say personality, but yeah, I mean, like, you got that face that's like that, like,
Sure.
you know, you meet it, and it's just one of those, like, man, that's a face I could hit.
Right.
I
It's
mean,
just
I
too
like
good,
the
you're
fact
jealous.
that guy was, like, really easy to kind of sucker into 50 gold, so that was nice.
Yeah. What? Fair is fair.
Yeah, as you say that, the camera cuts to him talking to his daughter, and he says, "Don't worry, I found the nicest, most honorable men, and even a woman, and they're gonna go and take care of this problem. Don't you worry about it." All right, and then it cuts back to you guys.
Well, if we need extra cold magic and you can cast it, you get a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to hurt me, and I can also bring ice magic.
Now this I gotta see.
We can do it tomorrow if you don't believe me, but let's just say I'm a very good. I pick up on things. I'm talented. You see, a prodigy.
Like, if I...
It is a short walk for you guys to get to the old toll house, which is where the guards are located out of. There you go. Oh, I'm moving the whole map here. There we go. Oh, I'm doing it again. All right. Foundry, why are you being so cruel? All right, we'll get it sorted out. Yeah, there we go. So, you head over there, and this is the old toll house. This is the largest and sturdiest building in Drellin's Ferry, and it is the old dwarven-built toll house, which still stands where the foot of the mighty ancient bridge once stood. The toll house serves as a town hall, courtroom, jail, and town guard headquarters. So, roughly 20 guards live here. The rest have actual houses and families and all that jazz. So, they are all led by the most beloved Captain Serana. And yeah, as you arrive, they recognize you, Thanlin, and they say, Thanlin, I thought you were off. You're gonna enjoy your Friday night.
Yes, you see I was, but then, something caught my interest. Helen over by the, inn, he had mentioned that the troll was causing problems. It had almost attacked his daughter. What's being done about that?
Whoa, woof. This is kind of outside my pay grade. I don't make the decisions about what does and doesn't get taken care of. And the guy looks real nervous. He kind of pulls at his collar a little bit, and he's like, Thanlin, you know how it is. Our job is to keep the citizens safe from themselves. We enforce the laws set down by the council. We're not adventurers. We're not monster hunters. What, you want us to go after the Hydra of the Fens? Like, what do you want us to do?
Wait, there's a Hydra?
Typing down frantically.
Yeah, across the river, outside of town, west of it. You know, there's that old swampy forest. There's been sightings of a Hydra in the area.
I think there's like twinkles of stars in Orion's eyes because he's not encountered one and he would like to take it down.
Says that it's the same idea, right? Well, I guess it's not the same because technically the Hydra's minding its own business, and this troll, if there even is a troll, has been causing some issues, I guess.
I expect the town guards to do their jobs.
Look, if any of the town guard were to see the troll, obviously we would do whatever we could to stop the troll. There's been rumors of a troll. Some scared kids might have reported seeing a troll. For all we know, it was a disenfranchised guard wearing a costume.
I knew it.
Yes,
The fish,
but has
even the fisher folk, they're not sure what it is. They say that something's been getting at the fish and scaring them off and getting their nets. They could be excuses they're making for a poor spring. Huh?
yes, but it's best not to be so lax about it. Someone should have investigated.
All right, you hear a stern voice, and it says, someone should have investigated what? And standing behind him, you see Captain Sarana Anita. And she looks at you, Thanlin, and says, is there a problem? Vanderbilt?
Thanlin grits his teeth. No, Captain. The point I was addressing with this guard was that he shouldn't be so lax with his duties.
The guard just kind of like scoffs. Relax. I'm here. I'm here to answer questions from the citizenry. Write down reports of crimes. I wrote down the crime about or the alleged sighting of the troll. Well, what else do you want me to do? That's my job. I'm doing my job.
Quite. You are quite so doing your duty. Commendable. Somewhat. And he will turn to look to the captain. I, Vanderbilt, will be investigating the sightings of a troll, or alleged rumors of one. With these, and he points to the rest of the group, individuals, to aid me.
Oh no. She gives you a rueful smile, and she says, it was only a matter of time. So you done being a guard, huh? Militia's not exciting enough for you? You want to be an adventurer? Is that it?
And Phelan will return that rueful smile with his own.
This kind of thing is exactly what you're doing. And she kind of takes you aside a little bit, and she says, you've worked with our militia. You know that they couldn't handle something like this. The best thing to keep them and everyone else safe is to make sure they know that something like that isn't their problem. We don't want to throw lives away needlessly on something so dangerous and then risk riling the creature up. I've been working with the town council to get the money together for a bounty. It's going to be posted in the next few days, and hopefully some adventurers passing through will take care of the problem. But I haven't gotten it approved yet. Waiting to hear back. In the meantime, the ruins are right behind us. We're keeping an eye out. If anything does happen, we'll try our best. But Danlin, if you and these... And she kind of like hand waves at everyone, and then notices the lion and kind of like screws up her face, and then just shakes her head. She says, if you go rile this thing up, you better be ready to finish what you started. You don't want the creature to feel threatened and then start attacking and running rampant through the streets. But I do agree, it does need to be taken care of, just by the right people. I guess the question I'm asking, Danlin, do you think that you're the right person? You think that these are the right people? Can you do this?
Well, there's only one way to find out. And between the both of us, someone has to take care of this. And no offense, but he will look towards the guard.
Yeah, you look over and he's like eating like the rest of his sweet roll, and he's like humming one of Encore's like popular songs. He's just kind of like bopping his head to the beat.
It's not them.
All right. Well, consider yourself on paid leave.
Very well. And I like what you've done with your hair.
All right, give me a persuasion roll, because you're basically flirting with your boss, which is an office no-no. All right.
I do get advantage on this because of hold on. My knight's honor.
Oh.
All right.
Hold on, I'll put it in chat real quick.
Is Knight's Honor like you good at wooing maidens? You will never be maidenless. Let's see. I will never let a lie pass my lips. I will never steal from a living soul. I will never harm a creature that is surrendered. I don't see I will never live maidenlessly. Is that...
Oh,
all right, go ahead and give me a persuasion check with advantage because you are one of her favorite employees. Awkward. Okay. Oh shit. Okay. Her face, being of pale complexion, immediately turns bright red, and there's almost like a heat coming off of her face. So she's blushing so hard that you could tell that this is a positive response. But she says, "Get out of here now, go. There's a troll to fight."
Of course, my lady.
Yeah, and then immediately turns around, maybe whispers "Baka" under her breath, and heads to the back to get something to drink.
Don't worry. Don't worry, Captain. Don't worry, Captain. We're your guy.
Oh my.
I go back to the party.
Okay.
Guys got you like over the, got the over the shoulder. You did good. You can practice.
You see that as Stanton's walking off, he too is bright red on his face, and he's just palming his head like, "Oh no, why did I say that?"
I don't think I've ever seen a human turn that red before.
All right, so outside, in sort of this square, you are across from the town green, which is sort of like a park / just big open field. There's a big tree in the center of it, and this is sort of the area where people come to play and relax, and they have a produce market here sometimes, and sometimes like a flea market situation. Here on a Friday evening, you just see families that have decided to eat outside, and they're just laying out like little blankets, and it's just so pastoral and so domestic. It's so beautiful, and everyone is just so happy. The spring temperatures are a little chilly, but you got the river there, so it kind of cools you off. Evening is threatening to settle in, but late afternoon is still holding on as best it can. So what do you guys do now?
I have an idea.
Hit us.
I have a friend. You ever met them, Jared?
Would I know about this?
Jarrett of Jarrett Sundries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you are from the town, you would definitely know Jarrett.
Yeah, Fallon will shake his head. Yeah, I know of him.
Well, she brought me into town, and I took a stop in what she had, and I think it'd be everything we need to take this on. Also, she does love sponsoring me, and probably you in proximity. Maybe she'll give us some extra coin. Maybe she wants the head.
Speaking of extra
Sponsoring,
gold,
like team T-shirts kind of deal, or
I mean, kind of measures your face up. I don't know if we can all fit.
so speaking of extra gold, I do recall the guard leader saying something about a council that was going to approve a bounty. Guy, you wouldn't be able to talk him into that, would you?
Probably. I mean,
Oh, try to double dip on that bounty? Oh my.
yeah, I was just gonna say let's wait a couple of days, but
I could probably accelerate that if you give me some time.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you think you can persuade them, go for it.
I am famous. I bring the right people. I might need to bring the lion. Orion and the lion. I like that.
I'm a stern negotiator. I'll join you as well.
Excellent. Barnabas has a gun. You know what? She has a scary face. And Thandon, you're a gun. You know, why don't we all go? What are they gonna do? Say no to a whole bunch of people wielding weapons and scary items? And a lion?
Probably.
Yeah,
But let's
you
find
would.
out.
I mean,
Jarrett's first or the council?
Can anyone make the illusion of a troll?
I could try to sound like one.
So I missed an illusion.
If we need to get theatrical with it, we'll resort to that.
Theatrics always gets you the best ending.
Perhaps we should talk them into it once we're successful, though. It might be bad to ask them for more money and then fail.
I could, yeah, we could even say you don't have to commit, but if we just so happen to come back with the head of a troll, better have that money ready.
We should promise them something other than the head because the barkeeper wanted the head. We can't do.
That's
We
true.
gotta start promising arms and fingers.
And fur.
Now,
I think we have
normally the town council meets where you're standing, right now at the old toll house, because it's a big ass, dwarven structure that has, lots of rooms and all that jazz. But this late in the day, on a Friday, more than likely the town speaker has gone back to his house, which, conveniently enough, is right across the greens at number 3.
Okay.
Now, if you were planning to hit up Jarrett's goods, yeah, it's right down there.
Yeah. Guys like pointing between the two. Now, I know Jarrett personally. So,
Let's start there then, maybe.
alright, I'll introduce you.
I might need some parts.
Very well.
Oh, also, do be careful. She is the person that I got the book that had the hand of the mummy of Umber. So, she's a bit aloof. Don't be flagrant and like the rest of you are. Boisterous, I know, it's difficult. I don't want to give off the bad impression. She likes me though. And Guy will walk it.
All right. So you hear the sort of jingle chime of a door or a shop bell as you head in. There is a white-furred tabaxi woman, and she is assisting some customers. And there is a pale-skinned, dark-haired woman with extremely red lips and sort of a sharp look on her face, eyes that seem to kind of take in everything. She's currently tending to a customer, and they are tendering out a transaction. The customer turns, looks down at the parcel they have, smiles, and sort of walks out. As he does, he catches sight of Claude the lion. He lets out a terrified and throws his parcel in the air.
If nobody else does, Guy will catch it.
Okay, give me a sleight of hand. All right, Guy. As you go to catch it, you do that classic. I've got this. You go to catch it, and you sort of just backhand it even further away from the guy. It hits the ground and kind of tumbles into the small garden that is set out to kind of make the shop look nice. And the guy, it doesn't even notice this though. He's backing away from the lion, and he's you sense Orion. He's getting ready to call for the guards.
Orion would hop off of Claude's mane and kind of rush over to his parcel and try and like pick up his bundles. Like, oh, you dropped this. Are you okay?
Yeah, so give me a persuasion. See if you kind of pull him back out of his fear there.
Cool. Flat 0.
He looks over and he sees you, a mouse, a big 3-foot tall mouse, and he says, "Watch out, little one! There's a giant cat. Thellin, you're a god. What are you doing?" And the man starts to kind of back up even further, and that's when he realizes he doesn't have his package. He starts looking around for it. He sees Little Mouse, that you have the package, and he says, "Oh, I must have dropped that. You run that way. I'll run this way, and I'll catch up with you." And the man runs off.
Wait, no, sir.
Okay. Does anybody try to stop him? Otherwise, he's running.
Sir, no, it's not a troll. Come here.
All right, give me a persuasion.
I just turn sideways so he can get out if he wants.
Stanley is face palming, not even trying to stop the man.
Okay.
Can I use my showman ability?
Um.
Which is if there is a non-combative audience watching. Oh, it's fight. Okay. No,
Okay. Okay. He stops for a second and then he says, "What? What is it? Why are you all just standing around?"
No,
No.
you don't have to worry. Claude's fine. Claude's fine, and he'll kind of like rush up to him with his package.
And the guy looks really embarrassed. He says, "Adventurers." Sorry. I almost got eaten by an owlbear when I was a kid, so big animals really freak me out.
Reactions like that, you're gonna get eaten by a real bear one day.
You think so?
I mean,
Are you one of those adventurers they call a psycho? Are you seeing into the future right now?
No, I just freaking out like that. I mean, it's gonna freak out whatever is in front of you.
Yeah, I think they say that.
As you say that, Claude just lets out another long, lazy yawn. Smack his lips.
I think they usually say to not make any sudden movements.
Oh, wow! What a day. Well, thank you for grabbing my package. Oh, that sounds bad. Thank you for picking up my parcel. I'm so flustered. I'm gonna head home now. Oh, good day.
Do you have an Albert yolk? An egg?
Guy, he's run off at this point.
Take care.
Extracted. All right. As you walk in, Jarrett Nurth looks over at you. Of the two ladies, she is the human one, and she looks over at all of you, and then she sees some familiar faces, and she smiles the most at Guy, and then says, "Oh, you're making a scene out there, are you? Oh, well, that's a big cat. Are you planning to bring him inside? If you do, mind the tail. We have a lot of breakables."
Does she deal in like trading of like furs and stuff like that?
She is trying to be the best shop in town. She has some competition, but she's definitely more upscale than her competitors, and she has she tries, at least has a reputation of, getting on the good side of adventurers. So generally, she tries to buy anything that adventurers don't need anymore, and then sell it to others. So she is a blossoming magic item purveyor, right, or broker.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So she's trying to break into the magic item broker business, essentially. So yeah, she generally has a mixed selection of goods. If you're after just the most, kind of mundane, like supplies and stuff like that, there's better places to go in town. She's more of like an upscale store that does a lot of reselling, basically.
Okay, because I was wondering, because I think from Orion's standpoint, since he's kind of like a leather worker and stuff, he would trade with like whatever furs he's gotten out in the wild. So it doesn't sound like he's met this person before.
Yeah, more than likely you would be dealing with probably Steryl's provisioning, because he does a lot of work with the actual merchants that are traveling to and from the town. And is keeping their caravans re-equipped, and he deals a lot with more like trade goods and things like that of the more mundane variety.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right. Well, just answer her question. No, I think he'll stay outside, and Orion will kind of lick the claw and like, just stay here, buddy, for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. he kind of makes a soft roar, and then he eyes the nicest flowers in the flower bed, and you know that he wants to sleep on them. This is the bond you share.
I don't think Orion will stop him. Probably gonna have to ask for forgiveness later.
Yeah, he just kind of like collapses on top of them, and they are squished. They are squished. He will smell wonderful though. He'll smell wonderful. All right. So Jarrett kind of narrows her eyes a bit and says, "At least he's not breaking anything in the shop." So, Guy, why don't you tell me about your colorful friends and what exactly it is you need?
Well, they can introduce themselves if they would like, but I can give them an introduction. I feel like I know all of them personally at this point. Close, right? Looks around to each of you.
Yeah, Jared's dead amber eyes just kind of, and he shrugs as he looks at you.
Danlin gives you a blink expression.
Just as long as you don't call Claude a troll again.
I was going to make the distinction that he's not a troll. I know what you were thinking, Jared. I know what you were thinking. I thought the same thing. But this is Jared. Very dangerous, deadly. You can tell by the eyes. Very powerful. He hasn't raised an arm towards me yet. I can just tell. I don't know what's up, but I don't want any part of it, melee-wise. Seems like he knows what he's doing. This is Barnabas. Barnabas just straight up has a gun. Also a scholar.
Oh, so you're from Denovar then?
That's right.
You don't look like a gnome.
Well, yeah, but that's who I was raised amongst. But,
oh, okay.
I could say there's a lot in common with them, having grown up around them. Have any things that go boom?
Interesting. Okay.
This is Orion. Orion is an extremely deadly hunter and a tamer of beasts beyond comprehension, like that thing up there. Small sizes. You've met a mousekin before, like the warrior Gideon. They've met.
Oh, wow. Met Gideon himself, one of the legendary heroes of Rest? That's incredible.
Correct. And there's Layla.
Except, Guy, the legendary heroes of Rest died centuries ago.
Orion, you didn't tell me you're an ancient power? We're in for work now. There's a story afoot.
It's fine, it's fine. And who else do we have here?
That's Layla. Layla is gone.
I've apparently got a scary face, and I'm a psycho that can read into the future.
No.
So I might as well lean into it. Hey, do you have any weird sticks and bones I could make into a fetish?
We do have sticks and bones. We do.
Cool. Set them aside. I'll come pick them up tomorrow. Might as well lean into it. She shrugs.
But don't let Guy be rude. You have a lovely face. It has a lot of character, and it shows a life that was lived.
Well, that's all right. I'm just counting the comments. Once he gets to 12, we'll add one to his.
So, and this is Thanlin of the Guard.
I mean, not just Thanlin. Thanlin, the guard that's banging the captain.
Whoa!
And immediately, like, he's gonna punch him in the back of the head.
Yeah. You hear, and her assistant, Winter Winds, kind of looks over and says, Thanlin, finally! Everyone's been wondering how long it would take. Congratulations.
No, it's not true. It's not true.
See, everyone, just go with it.
You are going to ruin whatever working relationship I have with me. And you're gonna get me in deep trouble.
I didn't make you say those words.
Guy, is it my intuition speaking here? Are you forming an adventuring party?
It sounds like they desperately want to be an adventuring party. Honestly, I don't know. I don't blame them.
I love the way.
About right.
What happened to the other 3 adventuring parties that you joined up with?
Now,
Raised eyebrows.
All eyes goes to Guy.
Heads just immediately.
Let's just say they didn't like my cooking.
I see.
But that's why
Well.
you sponsored me, right? We're taking out something. Thanlin has a great mission. Thanlin, please.
Oh, whoa. Can I get an insight on that they didn't like my cooking?
Yeah, go for it. Guy, you can give me a performance or a deception. Oh my gosh, just a lot of insights coming in.
Yo.
Did you poison your pro party?
Yeah, honestly, Barnabas and Jert, it's a bit heartbreaking that this guy just can't seem to find his forever home. Yeah.
I just well, yeah, I just trust him. Basically.
I did not.
Pat him on the leg. I trust you, buddy.
That is a bad place to store your cooking utensils, right next to your poison.
Look. Yeah, Guy pats it and says, I don't know what they didn't like about the recipes. They're all famous.
We'll have something to bond over.
Exactly.
So Jarrett then says, well, Avandra and the other gods know we need adventurers more than ever. It's getting a little crazy out there. I mean, you've heard about the old graveyard outside of town, right?
Of course, but they might need a reminder.
Oh, left over from the Reston Empire. Gosh, several hours outside of town. Some trappers were following, reports of a strange rodent tracks. Rodents of exceptional size, you might even say. They were following the tracks, and they happened upon the graveyard and saw some people in the graveyard, which was weird because it's abandoned. But when they approached, they claim that the dead were walking around and dancing. Necro dancing, I guess.
Yes.
Yes. Well, obviously they fled immediately, abandoned following the rodent tracks, and came back to tell everybody. But as Thanlin could probably tell you, the town militia is a bit understaffed and a bit overburdened. Some might say overburdened with a lack of talent. Some might just say overburdened with more than they can handle. Yeah. So, also, that one farm outside of town. What was it? Daisy Meadows. They've had, there's rumors that you don't want a job there because a lot of their farmhands have gone missing. Yeah. But anyways, what I'm saying, Guy, is this is probably a good time to start an adventuring party. And I know that could be a financial burden. That's why I am here to listen to what you need and maybe arrange something that could be mutually beneficial for everyone.
And that's why I brought them to you.
All right, and then that seems like a good place to stop because we are at time. So you guys got a bunch of adventure hooks. You are established now in the world and in the town of Drellin's Ferry. Plenty to do, plenty to see. I could feel that group cohesion starting to come together. Of course, the greatest bonds will be formed in battle.